I carry bag after bag on the road. Tell me who's the chauffeur, you can show me where to go. I ain't have no love, you get away with the shit that you know. I don't got no trust, so you might not get away with it though. To give another try, open your voice and your mind. No better, I'm the type to know better. So open your mind for me, that's the best way to decide. So open your mind, don't think about the time. I know that you're fine, another place is fine. Better than I do, you look or do you find? Do you sacrifice all your love to be declined? You say it's a plus, but I say I'm just so tired. Yeah, I'm tired of lust, I can't even close my eyes. I'm going on the path, what's ahead, say no lies. If you lie, I'm not lying, on the ground getting high. Baby, this ain't nothing new, been on drugs for a while. I can see it in your smile, that you gone, it's a buy. Said you stay for the style, said you stay for the vibe. You stay for the night, will you stay for my life? That's a big ass question, let me go get you a knife. Would you step back on me, would you leave me for the night? It's so cold in the evening. It's so cold in the evening. Yo, that was tough. That was tough, right, chat? That was tough, right, chat? Alright. Yo, chat. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna go make a little plate, get some food. I'm gonna get reacts ready right now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna watch some true crime. So y'all be prepared for that. I'm gonna put y'all on the BRB screen real quick. I fuck with y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in a couple seconds. 3, 2, 1. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me go back, get these reactions ready. Yeah, what do y'all feel like watching? The most dangerous job in crime or DNA destroyed in nanoseconds? Most radioactive man. They both kind of sound interesting. What y'all feel like? You feel me? You want to see the DNA? Y'all want to watch the DNA? I bet. Love you by the way that I kiss you. Alright, chat. This is DNA destroyed in nanoseconds. Most radioactive man. Posted by Storified. We gonna see what this is on. Good little 20-minute, 16-minute video.
By extreme levels of radiation, Hisashi Ouchi found himself in one of the most catastrophic nuclear accidents in history. What began as a routine day at the nuclear facility ended in
bro. Let me tell you one thing, bro. Like, when you guys spend time over there at the nuclear facility, bro, that shit get hot. Boy, if you don't get
suffering and a prolonged 83-day battle for his survival. On September 30th, 1999, at the Tokaimura nuclear fuel reprocessing plant in Japan, technicians Hisashi Ouchi, Masato Shinohara, and their supervisor Yutaka Yokokawa began.
Why do they got company names? Like, hold on.
Supervisor Yutaka Yokokawa.
Look, I don't mean to sound racist. Do Japanese people have better names than American names? Cause these are low-key compa. Hisashi Ouchi, Masata Shinoharu, Yutaka Yokokawa. That's compa. And then I'm over here fucking, slides over here. Yutaka? Yeah, Yutaka's fire.
Of work culture, but no one understands it better than the Japanese. Hisashi Ouchi and his colleagues were caught in a deadly pursuit of deadlines, thanks to corporate greed, cutting corners, and a deeply ingrained Japanese work culture that often disregards workers' safety. At that time, Japan's energy economy relied heavily on foreign imports until it realized that the country needed to expand its energy sources. This put extreme pressure on the energy industry, which put workers like Ouchi at risk. Increased suicide rates. Tokai Nuclear Power Plant was Japan's first nuclear power station. Fuel for
this pen a little dumb. I can't put it down straight. I gotta put it sideways.
Fuel conversion company JCO. At Tokaimura, workers converted uranium hexafluoride into enriched uranium dioxide. This was then further processed into pellets at other facilities. The pellets were placed into tubes, sealed, and assembled into fuel rods, which is the primary fuel used to generate nuclear power. But what transpired isn't as simple as carelessness. The lack of proper knowledge and care for worker safety would soon become their...
Look,
So I got knowledge on this NUKE stuff, you feel me? And I'm sure what happened here is he either connected the wrong things or something rubbed the wrong way, or he just wasn't thinking in the time.
Ultimate nightmare. On that fateful day, Ouchi and his colleagues began their day as usual. One of the nuclear plant technician's main responsibilities is managing uranium mixing in 3 crucial steps. First, in the dissolution tank, the automated system mixes a 5% concentration of uranium powder and nitric acid. The second step involves a cylindrically shaped buffer tank designed to prevent the uranium.
I wonder,
from
did they get
reaching
paid a lot? Because who the hell
accidental
want to do
cavity,
this?
also
That's a
known
good
as
question.
nuclear.
How? Damn. Yeah, they make money on. They making some bread.
Fission chain reaction.
They are making some bread.
Additionally,
75,000 to 150,000 a year.
Into the third and final step, the precipitation tank. The reactions during this process create an intense amount of heat that must be removed. Using a cooling water jacket that surrounds the tank to remove the heat, the technicians oversee the system as it carefully mixes the uranium in this final step. However, 3 years before the accident, JCO altered their procedure to speed up production of this highly dangerous material by skipping crucial steps due to the increasing demand for fuel rods.
Idiot.
To
What
meet
did I tell you, bro?
expectations, JCO bypassed regulatory approval and allowed them to illegally mix the uranium powder in stainless steel buckets instead of using the automated equipment. To make it even worse, JCO was behind schedule with the production of fuel rods, putting even more pressure on the already overworked technicians. So they decided to perform an already hastened process even more recklessly. They also took efficiency to a new level by completely removing their protective equipment and wearing only casual, comfortable clothing.
Yeah, me, I would have felt the vibranium and uranium radioactivity wave coming off me. I'd be like, yeah, I gotta go.
Ouchi and Shinohara began mixing the uranium powder into a steel bucket, but instead exceeded the legal concentration limit by 7 times. Yokokawa watched overseeing the process as Ouchi leaned his body over the precipitation tank while Shinohara stood on a platform to assist in pouring the solution. Suddenly, the gamma radiation alarms began to sound.
Damn.
It made a horrifying mistake, triggering an uncontrolled nuclear chain reaction. A flash of blue light, known as Cherenkov radiation, lit up the room as it released massive amounts of energy and gamma particles, which proceeded to bombard the surrounding area with lethal doses of
Yo, I wonder what that really looks like,
the
though.
burst of energy from the nuclear chain reaction.
Like, I don't want to
caused
be in
charged
there when it
particles
happens,
like
of course.
electricity to move
But, like,
faster than the speed of
I wonder
light
what it
in the
looks like.
surrounding medium, generating a blinding blue shockwave and confirming the occurrence of an uncontrolled nuclear fission reaction with catastrophic results. The safe exposure limit for technicians and those working around nuclear material
Same here,
is
just
20 to
streaming,
50
just now
millisieverts
streaming.
per year. The crew received a massive dose of approximately 30,000 millisieverts combined. Ouchi received the most radiation, absorbing over 17,000 MSV since he was the closest to the explosive reaction, while Shinohara received 10,000 MSV. Being much further away, Yokokawa only received a dose of 3,000 MSV. While the 3-person crew fled the scene immediately,
Don't they have museums or something for that? Nah, I don't think so.
Excruciating pain now searing through their bodies. As they rapidly became nauseous and short of breath, Ouchi and Shinohara
Yo, why the fuck did they use it? Why they gotta do this? Why they use this photo for that, though?
towards the decontamination room, where Ouchi
I've fallen,
vomited
and I can't
ultimately
get
lost
up.
consciousness. Once the food processing plant officials realized the
fucked up.
situation, they immediately evacuated the rest of the employees to prevent more radiation exposures. Officials took the 3 men to the National Institute of Radiological Sciences in Chiba. Yet, once they realized the nature of Ouchi's case, they decided to transfer him to the University of Tokyo Hospital.
Damn, they said we can't
where
do
there are
nothing
more
with you.
qualified staff, along with advanced equipment to treat and support Ouchi's recovery. On the evening of September 30th, Ouchi arrived at the hospital in good spirits and, at least on the outside, seemed fine. But as soon as they learned, looks can be deceiving. Nurses noted his swollen arm and seemingly sunburnt skin, but several believed he would go home soon. But little did they know, this was only the beginning of one of the most gruesome deaths in history.
Screenshot that.
Adding
I wish I
insult to
could.
injury, JCO officials
Yo,
painted Ouchi
the
and his
vibe finna be
colleagues
up.
as
Just go back
fools
to it and
who wanted to
screenshot it,
leave
and
work
I try
early.
and make that
They claimed
an
they
emote.
mixed the uranium powder in buckets of their own free will to save time. Despite Ouchi's positive attitude, his condition was dire. When the hospital staff learned about his workplace accident, they ordered a biopsy of his bone marrow. The human body steadily replaces old cells over time, thanks to chromosomes inside our body. Chromosomes contain our DNA and the blueprint for the repairing process.
Wait.
Without this natural mechanism, we wouldn't survive.
Never mind.
And neither would Ouchi.
Never mind.
As the doctors received the test results,
I was
they
gonna say I thought
realized
chromosomes
that
were
this
for like
fundamental mechanism
brain,
in his
but
cells was damaged.
I guess they're not
Ouchi's
neurological.
chromosomes
Boy, if you don't
were fused together abnormally or broken into small pieces from the radiation blast, showing no signs of their expected shape. His DNA was so badly damaged that the repairing process was non-existent. Their
Damn.
grim discovery made them soon realize that Ouchi's case was no mere case of minor radiation sickness.
Yeah, that happened to
Despite
me.
Ouchi looking fine, this period of good health would be
I'm gone.
short-lived. as the
I ain't
doctors
waiting for the
described
doctor
him
to
as
tell me
being in
nothing.
What do you mean by that?
It's called the walking ghost phase. During this phase, the patient may appear healthy, but is actually in a very fragile state, which could potentially last for hours or even days. In short, Ouchi was a ticking time bomb, and his excruciating suffering was about to begin.
Ticking time bomb. Gang. He just got hit. She got hit by some nuke radioactivity, and you talk about he a ticking time bomb. That's fucked.
Imagine living in a world where every door handle is potentially
That's
lethal,
why.
and a simple handshake could be your last. This is the constant, nerve-wracking reality for someone with an almost non-existent immune system. The emotional toll is immense. Every interaction, every outing, every meal becomes a calculated risk. For Ouchi, this was his new reality.
Hold on. Wait, what was that? This look like Toscano soup if I'm not wrong. But I could be wrong. I thought it was Toscano because I thought these are potatoes. And like, you know, you put ground beef, you put some mushroom broth, some chicken broth in there. You feel me? All types of shit. My fault
a
though.
calculated risk. For Ouchi, this was his new reality. And to combat this new danger, the head physician, Kazuhiko Maekawa, decided that a sterile environment was his best chance of survival. Having zero white blood cells, the 35-year-old technician's immune system was useless in a fight against many once harmless pathogens. But with the constant threat of infections out of the way, his medical team knew that he needed a healthy supply of fresh chromosomes to help his body heal. Fortunately, there was an experimental cancer treatment called a hematopoietic stem cell transplant. His body needed the biological fuel to create new cells. Fortunately, there was an experimental cancer treatment called a hematopoietic stem
Donor, collection of stem cells, processing cancer, chemotherapy, infusion of stem cells, patient. Hematopoietic stem cell transplant.
His body needed the biological
Useful.
fuel to create new cells and replace his damaged ones. The experimental treatment would take donor bone marrow cells and inject them into Ouchi. The idea is that these new cells would give his body the materials needed to start producing healthy bone marrow cells again. Being
Damn, my little
experimental,
shit just
successful treatment required someone with an immune system that closely matched
Let's just scrunched
Ouchi's.
up.
Fortunately,
Like it's crunchy right
the
now.
medical staff were able to find a suitable donor in Ouchi's sister. The team went to work administering the experimental treatment. Although being the first in the world to receive this treatment, the doctors were hopeful. Yet,
Is
they
that
did
an
not
engine?
want to mince words with Ouchi's family. They needed to understand
Sounds
the
like a
gravity
V8.
of his situation and the likely result of his exposure.
Uncapping.
Ouchi
My fault.
himself didn't fully grasp the gravity of his situation. He asked the nurses if he could go home, and also asked about the risk of developing leukemia from such high radiation exposure. However, he did not have the luxury of time to develop leukemia, and the effects of radiation poisoning began to set in sooner rather than later. Ouchi's skin lost its youthful elasticity, peeling off as medical staff removed the medical tape holding the many machines hooked up to his body. This meant that the doctors couldn't use medical tape or adhesives of any kind on his skin. Soon after,
Thank God I'm not
the poor
eating right
man's
now.
lung filled with fluid,
Boy.
stifling his ability to breathe or
I mean, it
speak.
wouldn't have messed up
As the
nothing,
fluid
but that shit
continued
still
to
would have
build
been
up in his
nasty.
lungs, it sapped his remaining strength, keeping him bedridden. Though he couldn't move or speak much, Ouchi still expressed his love for his wife and family members who had yet to leave his side.
Rest in peace,
His
with your
condition
mom.
worsened again, the fluid in his lungs robbing his ability to breathe on his own. Ouchi's medical team set him up on assisted breathing, holding on hope that his treatments would begin to heal his damaged body. About 10 days after the stem cell transplant, Dr. Maikawa performed another test to see if the treatment was successful. Miraculously, his sister's stem cells were seen throughout his body, indicating that the treatment had worked. In the following days, his white blood cell count reached normal levels again. This was good news, but like the walking ghost phase, it was short-lived. In the next week, Ouchi's condition started to get worse again. This is when things really got out of hand. Frustrated, Dr. Maikawa performed an endoscopy to find out what had gone wrong and why the treatment failed. What he discovered revealed the true nature of Ouchi's struggle and what he was about to endure. The endoscopy revealed that the protective membrane in his intestine had died.
Nigga
and
just
was
deep-throated
falling
us.
apart. Without the healthy membrane, the human body can't absorb water, nutrients, or get any nourishment from food. This meant that either death or starvation or dehydration would be Ouchi's end. Even this news wasn't the worst of
It
what
was
was
just
in
deep
store
throwing
for
us and
Ouchi.
shit.
Dr.
Hold up.
Maikawa and his team investigated further, focusing on the transplanted stem cells. Because of the radiation blast, the exposure left residual radiation in Ouchi's body, which corrupted the healthy transplanted cells, ultimately failing to regenerate his immune system. Now, Ouchi was worse than when he came in, and his suffering was about to increase exponentially. He began to suffer from intestinal issues, producing about 3 liters of diarrhea a day. The fluid loss continued to get worse as he lost complete control of his bowels and began to bleed internally. His bleeding had gotten worse due to the loss of the protective membrane. The blood loss was so catastrophic that doctors had to replace it with 10 blood transfusions per day. This also meant that Ouchi was in constant pain.
He was a vampire for a second.
To ease his
My
suffering.
bad.
His skin continued to blister and peel off to the point where his body could no longer hold onto any fluids. With the danger of dehydration looming, his medical team worked tirelessly to replace 10 liters of fluid loss per day. The hospital staff wrapped Ouchi in bandages to help preserve the fluids, but this only made it worse as his skin peeled and seeped fluids.
That's
His
nasty as
fluid
hell.
loss
Get that
became
shit off.
so severe that the doctors had to measure just how much he was losing to know what to replace. The problem was so terrible that replacing all of Ouchi's bandages took nearly half a day. Finally, Dr. Maikawa began to use skin grafts in a last-ditch effort to help Ouchi's body retain fluids. However, with severe dehydration, the skin grafts couldn't adhere to Ouchi's disintegrating skin. His pain was unbearable, but his family remained hopeful that he would get better. At one point, Ouchi couldn't open or close his eyes, and nurses even reported seeing him crying blood. While they may have thought of it, his medical team dared not to speak it aloud. Ouchi's time was running out. Dr. Maikawa and his medical team worked.
Y'all ever cried blood?
But
That shit's crazy.
2 months into their work, Ouchi showed no signs of improvement.
Me
He had
too.
been through
Thank God I didn't
unimaginable
eat either.
agony, but his family still wouldn't give up. Yet, Ouchi could take no more and just wanted to be home. Finally, Ouchi's pain became so overwhelming that the medical staff placed him in a medically induced coma. His temporary improvement was again short-lived as the doctors realized
No, I ain't
that
no
his
vampire,
organs were
bro.
shutting down. First, his heart was pumping at twice the rate it should have been due to the
Talk about, nigga, are
continuous
you a
stress on his
vampire?
body. Though he was in
No.
a state of rest, his heart was beating as if he were running a 100-yard dash. It worked so hard during that time that it stopped beating.
Bet.
Because there was no do not resuscitate order in place, they brought him back. But once they did, his
Damn.
brain, though active, was barely hanging on
Fried.
by a thread. Shortly after, his liver and kidneys shut down, leaving him entirely dependent on the machines to keep
That's
him alive.
crazy.
Realizing the end was here, Dr. Maikawa
Yeah, but
spoke
like-
with Ouchi's family, convincing them to sign the do not resuscitate and end Hisashi's suffering.
I'm not
Then,
gonna get into
on
that.
December
That nigga
21st,
just scribbling.
1990, Maikawa spoke
That's not a
with Ouchi's
signature?
family, convincing them to sign the do not resuscitate and end Hisashi's suffering. Then, on December 21st, 1999, despite the doctor's best efforts, including revolutionary stem cell transplants, skin grafts, and blood transfusions, Ouchi's body could not recover. He died from multiple organ failure. The 35-year-old, hard-working family man could finally be at peace. Of the three-person crew, Shinohara also died from his radiation-related injuries. Though exposed to dangerous levels of radiation, Yokokawa survived the incident, but his involvement in the negligence landed him in heavy legal trouble. About 49 workers were exposed to the radiation blast.
Yo, chat, I'm gonna be right back. Oh, that's a bet. I did it, hit the threat. Got that get back for his gang out to my hat. Cock it out of my neck. What y'all doing, chat? Hold on. Before I was so brutally interrupted from my stream, we were reacting. Right or wrong, chat. So let's go finish this video because we only have one more. Not even one more, probably like 30 seconds left.
Were charged
Wait.
and died from his organ failure. The 35-year-old, hard-working family man could finally be at peace. Of the three-person crew, Shinohara also died from his radiation-related injuries. Though exposed to dangerous levels of radiation, Yokokawa survived the incident, but his involvement in the negligence landed him in heavy legal trouble. About 49 workers were exposed to the radiation blast. 6 officials from JCO, including Yokokawa, were charged with professional negligence and violating nuclear safety laws.
Yeah, they
The
did.
company
Cut
paid
out a bunch of shit.
12.6 billion yen to settle compensation claims from affected businesses and local
That's
residents.
wild.
Soon after, JCO lost their business licenses. In the end, Hisashi Ouchi's story is a harrowing testament to the human cost of industrial negligence.
Damn. Yo, chat.
Decomposed, alive.
Crazy video. Crazy video. I'm gonna go ahead and like that. Motherfuck. Go ahead, like that. Go ahead, subscribe. You did the big ones on that. I fought with that video.
Yeah, trap, sell, Mac, no Dell, leave a nigga, stale, tech, no cal.
Like, bro, there's too much cake going on right now. Like, bro.